Well, good afternoon, everyone. John Murphy, CEO of Virtual Incision, and I'm here to share how we're pioneering the use of mini robots for general surgery abdominal procedures. The LSI app has a nice executive summary with key company highlights of ours, the most salient point being that our developed Mirror platform is now FDA IDE approved, and we're currently in a colectomy IDE clinical study in the United States. So that's the first in the United States use of these devices. Our initial indication is for colon resection. There's approximately 400,000 of these procedures in the United States every year, most of which are open procedures. And we feel like our approach to robotic MIS for colon will really be an enabler to grow this important market. We also have follow-on robots, mini robots, specialty by procedure, to address procedures like hernia repair or gallbladder removal or adrenals or spleens or gastrectomy. So overall, this is a very large general surgery market. Now, the very impressive Intuitive Surgical with their Da Vinci systems have done a tremendous job pioneering in this area. And there's a number of other mainframe robots that are coming to market and that are in market. But instead of a 2,000-pound robot, our approach is to have a 2-pound robot. And we've worked diligently over the last 10 years to make these things simple, small, and smart. And so what I have with me today is one of these IDE approved devices. This robot is real. It has hundreds of hours of operations on it. This robot is 15 times reusable. It has single-use end effector instruments, a bipolar grasper and a monopolar scissors, as well as a visualization system, which has the world's first flex-tip robotic camera scope. So this has a robot in the handle, it has a light source in the handle, and it has your optics for about a 5mm full HD 1080p 60 scope that works in coordination with the robot here. So I think it's very exciting. Our website shares a number of these things around simple, small, and smart. The first is less invasive, fewer incisions. Equally important is our capability of full multi-quadrant access. We're looking at a 10-second incision time, a 10-second quadrant change, a 10-second extraction. There's no redocking required here. There's no draping required here. We thought this was a fun way to show that it's a self-contained, sealed, and sterilizable robot. If you want to try laparoscopic surgery in a fish tank, this is it. It shows the advances in the seals and the devices and the design. So our engineers also thought it would be fun to show how strong this robot is. It can lift 2 pounds in any and all axes. And of course, it can do press-ups with a 4-pound weight on its back. You need strength to do the bulk work in colon surgery, of course. So the other elements of this is we see ourselves absolutely as complementary to the mainframe systems. You'll have 1 or 2 of these mainframes in a room, but we're addressing the other 80% of ORs, where robotics is almost table stakes now in whether you're at the community hospital, the rural setting, or the ASC. So beyond the robot and the scope, we've got a console that sits stand. It's mobile. You can move it from OR to OR. And quite impressively, this is our mock OR in our beautiful headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. And Jerry, our clinical specialist here, is showing how you can set up a blank room, a completely empty room into a robotic MIS room in about 6 seconds. So this is the full element of the system on show here. So very much driving OR efficiency with this approach. Now on the smart side, we're obviously a great AI platform. This robot is spitting out 100,000 data items per second. We use deep learning on the surgery video, we use simulation data, and we have AI algorithms to auto-edit down 4-hour surgeries into 2-minute clips and things like this, depending on which event. And even in our IDE study, we're reporting over a dozen of these types of capabilities, these algorithms, to the FDA. So that's very important. And then on the smart side too, I'd be remiss if I didn't say we were easy to use, meaning surgery practice and training to proficiency is much quicker, exponentially more less cases than manual lap and considerably fewer than robotic cases. And then on the smart side, we've driven a very hard challenge for ourselves, is to be cost parity with manual laparoscopic surgery. So we've got a world-class supply chain, we've got a reuse strategy on the robot side that really drives very compelling economics. Now, also as part of this Series C financing, our reason to be here, to get us into commercial launch, we've got a comprehensive set of R&D pipelines. Initially, we just moved the robot and positioned the robot with a physician's assistant. But you're seeing here a prototype of what we call our PortBot system, which is an autoclavable robotic support arm. So now you're talking about fully autonomous, multi-quadrant surgery, 360-degree control of the positioning of the robot, of the robot itself for the operation, and for the camera use, all from the one console. I told you about a family of devices. We're changing the geometries, the degrees of freedom, and the instruments to be able to tailor each of these mini robots for a specific procedure, but you use the same camera and you use the same console and the same workflows in general. So we're advancing these as part of the Series C as well. So I mentioned we're in a colectomy clinical study now. We're recruiting patients in Lincoln, Nebraska, near our headquarters, and we're expanding to Pennsylvania and to Florida for a 3-site clinical study for the rest of this year, and look to clear a de novo approval next year and move into a limited market release in the United States. I've got a great team. This technology emanates from the University of Nebraska. UNMC in Omaha got Da Vinci serial number 8. And Dmitry Olinikov, a real luminary robotics and MIS surgeon, was recruited to start the robotics program at UNMC. He always felt that little robots on the inside made a lot more sense in some cases than huge robots reaching in from the outside. So he teamed with my CTO and co-founder, Shane Farrater. He's MIT PhD, Mars rover guy, 3 NASA sites, and together they started the company in 2006, and I joined about 10 years ago. We've also got a tremendous functional team in Mukund, Rick, and Eric with decades of technology and med device experience. So the use of proceeds of our approximately 35 million round is to get through our de novo approval, get into a market launch, do the key hires in some sales and clinical specialists and the engineering we're talking about, and advance these R&D elements. So the most important thing to conclude with is Mira. It's miniaturized in vivo robot assistant. We're an FDA IDE approved device. We're in the clinic now in the United States, and it's a general surgery abdominal addressable market for us. Thank you for your time and your interest in virtual incision.